everybody, I'm Keisha and I'm going to show you how to make a really fantastic low-carb snack that's going to keep you on the right track for your health goals for the new year. But this isn't just a snack that you're going to have, at New Year's. This is a snack that you can keep all year long. You're going to want it over and over and over again, and it's just going to be so fantastic. So it's protein-packed, it's going to give you lots of energy, and it's going to be really, really friendly towards your new dietary needs. So here's what we're going to do. I have a cup and a half of blanched almond flour right here. I have 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and I'm going to add about half a cup of Monterey Jack and cheddar mix. Now, I don't want to add too much of this into my cheddar cheese mixture because the Jack is a very soft cheese, so it's going to be really, really kind of melty. So I just want a little bit in there for an added flavor. So I'm going to mix all of this together and put the bowl in the microwave for about 30 seconds because I want to get the cheese to melt. So while that's melting, I'm going to take my almond flour right here and I'm going to go ahead and season it up really, really well. I want to put some dried red pepper flakes because I like a little bit of spice. And the great thing about this recipe too is that you can make it as spicy as you want. You can basically go with whatever flavor you're craving. You don't have to make it super spicy. A lot of times you can even take some pre-made taco seasoning and put it right in there and have like some cheddar nacho chips, which is really good. This is a little bit of seasoned salt, which has celery salt, and onion powder, and a little bit of garlic powder in there too. So I just want a little bit of this for an added earthy flavor. And we're going to take one of my favorite ingredients, yes, Grandpa Canino's gunpowder mix. This is a seasoning of all seasonings. It has everything. It's got paprika, it's got black pepper, it's got cayenne, it's got the spice to make everything so nice. You put this on anything and everything. Put that away, and I'm going to mix this up. Get this incorporated. So you can see the really nice pretty flecks in there, all the peppers and the seasoning. So if you can see your seasoning, you know it's going to taste really good. That's what we need to do. So let's check on the cheese. Oh, it's starting to get there. Starting to get a little melty, so we're going to give it a good stir. And it still has a little ways to go because I can still see some of the individual shreds of cheddar. So I want to get it really melted and nicely homogenized. So back in the microwave for 30 more seconds. There you go. So while that's continuing to melt, and I have my seasoning mixed into my almond flour right here, I'm going to take 1 egg and crack the egg right into the mix. There we go. Oh, sometimes it happens. Put this guy over here. Now I'm going to mix this all up, the egg with the almond flour and all of the seasonings. And this is going to be like my binder for the crackers. It's coming together nicely. It's going to clump a little bit, and that's fine because the oil and the fats from the cheese are going to help it come together even more completely. Okay, scrape that off the fork, and let's check the level of meltedness now. This is perfect. There you go. Now that's melty. That is melty, cheesy, gooey goodness right there. Okay. So now that my egg mixture is already mixed in with my almond flour, I'm going to get my cheese scraped up here off the sides of the bowl. There we go. Perfect. Now I want to take this cheese and put it into the almond flour. So we're going to go ahead and just scoop it down there. And I like to use a fork because it likes to separate all the granules of almond flour so that way everything gets mixed a little bit more evenly. And the cheese isn't really very hot, so I can go ahead and just pull the rest of it, the stringiness, with my hands. And that's what I was talking about with the Monterey Jack cheese. That's mixed into the cheddar. It's very soft, so it will be stringy. Okay, put this guy away. And now I just want to mix it all together. So what I'm going to do now is just get in with it with my hands. So if you know me, you know I'm a very hands-on kind of cook. I love to get in there and just get dirty. Get my food all mixed up. And this is the way that I know it's going to be best incorporated. There we are. There we It's coming together really, really nicely. Got a nice big cheese ball full of almond flour here, which is perfect. Now another thing to make this easier to work with is to go ahead and take it out of the bowl. It comes together as one big ball. And just work on the countertop. Now I love to make breads and pastas and all kinds of other things that require a lot of kneading. That's just the kind of cook that I am. So this is no different. I'm basically kneading a cheese dough to make my crackers. Now the oils in the cheese have come out, so it's not letting it stick to the countertop. So from here, what I like to do is take my pan and kind of smash it down a little bit. Smash it down. This is going to give me a much flatter consistency. Maybe even a thicker kind of cracker too. Now you can make these as thick or as thin as you want. I kind of like a little texture on mine. So what I'm going to do is just press it out with my hands to make it like a hand pressed dough. Perfect. And when it's at the consistency that you like, I'm going to show you a really easy way to flip this onto our nonstick pad. All right, here we go. So I just take my Silpat right here, and I put it on top, and as I can see, that it hasn't gone beyond the borders of my mat. So I pull this up, and all of this is going to come up as one big piece of dough. So from here, I'm going to take all of the rest of the little bits that are left on the counter, and I'm going to try and get this spread out just a little bit more in case the end of it did spring back whenever I did the flip. I'm just going to pat it out a little bit thinner because I do like the consistency and the texture and the thicker cracker, but I don't want it so thick that it's more of a biscuit. Here we go. All right, now I take my pad and I put it over here on my baking sheet. My oven is already preheated at 350 degrees, and this is going to go right in for about 10 minutes. We'll check back in a second. It's been about 10 minutes and I can just smell the spices coming from these amazing crackers, so let's go ahead and check on them. Now this is perfect. This is what I want to see. So you can see the crumbly texture right here. That's from the almond flour. It's nice and puffy. That's from the egg. Oh my gosh, and I wish you could smell it. I really do, because you just want to dive right in. So what we're going to do before we cut them, we have to let this cool completely. So I'm going to take the Silpat mat and just let it rest on this wire rack. So that way the air is going to circulate underneath the sheet of crackers here, and it's going to cool in about half the time. So I'll give this maybe about another 10 minutes to completely cool. Then I'm going to flip it onto a cutting board and cut it into squares. Stay tuned. All right, it's been 10 minutes, actually it's been about 12 minutes, and this is nice and cool. So what we're going to do is turn this out onto our cutting board right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip it right on over, just like that. It's perfect, yay! Okay, so now you can cut these in any size that you want, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut off like the rougher edges so I get more of a rectangle shape to work with. And all these jagged pieces, you know, you don't have to throw them out or anything, and that's not what I'm going to do. I'm not going to throw them out at all. I just like to rip them and snack on them. So here we go. All right. So move these guys over here. There. Just like that. Get this look up. That's pretty good. That's really good. I can taste even that one little crumb. I can taste all of the seasonings, the pepper. Woo, that's a good spice. So I want to cut these into strips, maybe about 1 inch wide. So that's exactly what I'm going to do here. Just start my knife at one end and rock the blade all the way back, pulling it through. And it doesn't matter if they're perfectly straight, just as long as they're cut into the size pieces that you want. Like I said, I'm going about 1 inch wide on these strips. And if you want them smaller, you can certainly make them smaller. I like to do that sometimes, and it kind of tricks my brain into thinking that I have more of the special treat or snack than I actually do. Okay. I'm going to turn my cutting board this way, and I'm going to do the same thing. So this way I'm going to cut them into little squares. And here we go. Put the knife, drag halfway, and rock the rest. There we go. And this ought to do, oops, this ought to do it here. Perfect. There we go. So see, we have these nice square crackers, these nice pieces, and you can see all of the seasonings in there, all of the peppers. This is so good. It reminds me of my favorite nacho cheese flavored snack. So these are excellent to eat by themselves, to dip in your favorite sauce, a nice French onion dip, or even like a really refreshing dill and sour cream. It's wonderful. All right, so give these high protein, low carb treats a try, and we'll see you later.